Hey, yo, what's the word, South Africa and the rest of the world, to be honest? It's your boy, Letsi Litsolo, and you're watching Crime and Reason. And today I've got a special reaction for y'all. I'm going to be reacting to a documentary, a mini documentary called Inside South Africa's Taxi Mafia. And to be fair, and to my shock, it's hosted by a channel called Dan Mace. So I guess the host's name is Dan Mace. He's a Caucasian fellow. He's a young Caucasian fellow, and he says he's going to go into the depths of the industry and, you know, check out the dangers and see what's what. And I'm curious to see how a Caucasian young man is going to be in South Africa's taxi mafia doing his thing. So I'm watching it for the first time with you guys, and I mean, I'll be stopping the video to react to it and give my comments and give my questions, because obviously there will be a lot of stuff that I don't know. All I know is that the industry is a dangerous industry. I know they regulate themselves. I mean, you see snippets of what these guys can do in certain dramas that you see on television, but obviously they won't fully tell you everything, as you may know. So, hey, without further ado, man, let's do what we have to do.
They've got rules, they've got guidelines that needs to be obeyed.
I got held up at gunpoint right here.
It's very sensitive industry. It may cost us our lives as well.
How's the following us?
Taxi unit is the most dangerous unit to be on. This will either get stolen or shot.
You think the drug industry, the drug unit would be the most dangerous. So if the cops are saying the taxi unit, that the taxi unit is the most dangerous, hey man, that says a lot, man. That says a lot about the industry. You think it's the drug unit, that's tough. But yeah, let's get into it, man.
Listen me carefully. We're not fighting now.
It's definitely a threat on your life.
Oh my gosh.
When starting this video, I never expected it to take such a turn. What you're about to see is the most mind-bending story I've ever witnessed. It's by far the scariest.
First of all, thank you, bruh. Thank you, Dan Mace, because I think South Africa needs to see things like this, you know? We need to see the industry, certain industries from a perspective that's just not, that goes beyond what we see on the news or what we see in these TV shows, these telenovelas, because you'll get snippets of what's going on. So, like I say, I haven't seen this before, but I have this feeling it's going to be entertaining. I mean, we're still on the intro right now, but I mean, hey, I can't wait.
Scariest but most necessary video I've ever made. Where is that a cop? Fuck, what I do? No. What?
That's called resisting, my brother. The last thing you want to be doing is resisting. Obviously, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why he's being put in cuffs, but don't resist. Don't resist. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, brother. Don't resist.
Call Jared. I've spent my life in South Africa.
Why does he get put in the front seat? How's that for a nice life, eh? You get arrested and you get put in the front seat. Wouldn't that be lovely?
And we've been brought up to fear taxi drivers. They aren't like regular taxis in the rest of the world. Our taxis look like this, and they're responsible for transporting 70% of the population to get to work. They are known for driving like crazy, cutting you off in traffic, speeding, driving on the wrong side of the road, peddling illegal firearms, driving under the influence, and overall just disregarding the law. One thing you're always told is to never hoot at them or get into an altercation.
Look, it's true, but I also believe that the danger depends on where you are in South Africa. I think certain places are more dangerous than others. Like in where I'm from, it's a small town, Mafikeng. I've been in situations where I can tell a taxi driver, nah, bro, chill, you're out of line. You're out of line. Let's follow the rules. But I would never do that in Cape Town. I would never do that in Durban. I would never do that in Johannesburg or Gauteng, period. There's certain places that I wouldn't dream of trying to put my foot down, even if I know I'm correct. But in my small town, I'll take the chance. Look, for the most part, I'm not a road rage guy. If I'm not the argument, get out of the car and bring out a bat, that's crazy to me, because, hey, you never know who you're dealing with, right? You just never know who you're dealing with and what's going on that day. But look, once or twice I've said, hey, taxi driver, in my hometown, you are out of order. and nothing has come of it. And I'm not saying I'm making a habit of it. I just felt like that particular time they were wrong, and I had it in me to say, hey, you were wrong. Moving right along.
Chances are they have a gun. They are responsible for violent attacks against Uber drivers, for burning buses and trains for stealing their passengers, and shutting down the city with their protests. However, in just one day without minibus taxis, South Africa would lose over $116 million, which is 2.1 billion rand due to the millions of workers stranded, as well as millions of children out of school, and bring major sectors of the economy to a near standstill. In this video, I'll be diving deep into the taxi industry and going into some of the most dangerous places in the world to uncover the truth by getting real insight into a $2.2 billion industry that's been operating under the radar for the last 38 years.
In Nyanga, 2 Cape Town taxi owners have been shot dead.
Gunshots were exchanged between the warring parties.
They were shooting at each other. We have recovered 20 firearms.
This is just one side we are constantly told by the media, so I want to find out if these taxi drivers are a safe necessity for the economy, or if they are violent mobsters that should be feared and put behind bars.
I have somebody that I can speak to who understands this a lot better.
And that's my friend Bravo. He's from the township area where the taxi drivers operate out of. Some of these areas are extremely dangerous, but through him I'll be able to hopefully get connected to the really big taxi bosses, as he is very connected.
I'm curious, right? Is he going to be doing, I don't think he'll be covering the whole of South Africa. I'm looking at the places that were mentioned, like Nyanga and Langa, which are in the Western Cape, or in Cape Town to be specific. So, I mean, I think it would be a lot to cover if we went nationwide. So, but I mean, Cape Town's got one of the highest crime rates in the country. So it's a good place to start if you ask me.
How's it, bro? I want to make a new video, but now you told me if this is very dangerous or not.
Okay.
I want to make a video on the taxi mafia, bro.
Yeah. That's a tough call. It's very sensitive industry, and it's gonna cost us a lot.
Look, bruh, and he's white. Like, you can't hide the fact that you can't go past the fact that he's white. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to investigate or go into a very dangerous industry, which is mostly it's black dominated. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? So it's one thing if there was a black guy going into it, the dangers don't change. But if it's a white guy going into it, trying to do his thing, that is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. Hey. Props to the young man, because I think he made it out alive. But let's keep watching.
It may cost us our lives as well. Do you have a specific person in mind?
I want the main O on the toppity top.
Wow. But like, let me get back to you.
He wants the main O. This guy wants the main O. He doesn't even want the soldiers. He wants the main O, bro. That's like going to the Mafia and wanting to speak to the boss, bro. Forget the capo, forget the consigliere, forget the soldiers, forget the associates. He wants the main O. Hey, man. Look, man, they say reach for the stars so you can at least land on the clouds. But damn, the main Mafia O? Dude, you know what type of connections you need to have to be able to get close to this guy? Your dad needs to be super rich. You need to pay them a whole lot of cash. How does this happen? Will he achieve his goal? He wants to meet up with the main O, the Ngankara guy. The Ngalagata. Right? That is crazy to me, man. My mind is blown. But hey, early days, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if he's going to reach his goal or not. I think he's out of his mind. But we need people like this. It's like those journalists that go into like war zones trying to give us the truth and stuff. That's dangerous. But certain stories need to be told, man. And I think this is an important one. And I can't wait. Let me stop talking. I can't wait.
Perfect, brother. Thanks, G.
Okay.
This is gonna be one hell of a scary video to make.
While I waited to hear back from Bravo on the taxi boss's side of things, I decided to go down the government route and try get hold of Alan Windy, who is the premier of the governing body in the Western Cape.
All I want to find out from his side is I need to get like his understanding of it from a big overview of like running an entire state. If he can send me his number, that'll be great.
You can just send your messages. You can just say, just let me know when you're free on Thursday.
Okay, thanks so much. So I just got the number for the premier of the DA of the entire Western Cape, which is the state, and that is as high up as I can get for information. So, making leeway one step at a time. Now I'm gonna message Alan Windy, and then I'll see. Oh, he's reading it. He's sitting there like at some politician desk. I can just imagine it with flags, big pictures of Nelson Mandela. He's typing. I should not stay on his page. That seems too keen, eh? Gotta be like online but offline. I'm off.
While I wait for Alan Windy to get back to me, I figured it's the perfect moment to speak about the paid partner that made this video possible, BetterHelp. I just finished the edit and decided to re-record the section because when I got into this video, I had absolutely no idea what it...
First of all, this guy, shout out. Before we even get too far, shout out to this young man. His cinematography is off the chain, man. He's got a dope-ass camera. I couldn't even put it on the full resolution scale because I don't know if my internet can handle it. I live on a farm. Wi-Fi is problematic, but shout out to this young man. I don't know if he does music on the side, but his editing looks dope. His camera quality is dope. His content is dope. I think I'm gonna keep watching what he's got, you know, what he's got in store. It's the first time I watch him, like I say. I don't know what he's done prior. And look, if this is the type of stuff that he does, then I mean, hey, I've got no choice but to give to give him props. You know what I'm saying? This is brilliant. This is brilliant, man. He's a go-getter. He's a go-getter for sure, man. And we need more people like him.
A toll this would take on my mental health. And if you followed me for a while, you'll know how seriously I take mental health, especially with videos like this and the kind of content that I make. Heavy subjects, real people, raw stories, it can leave you carrying a lot. Lately, I've noticed a lot more social pressure, which I guess is a comparison to other people's work. That sense of I should be doing more creeps in all the time. And I've had to learn over time how to turn that anxiety into fuel instead of letting it burn me out. And therapy has played a huge role in that. With BetterHelp, you fill out a short questionnaire and get matched with someone who suits your needs.
He looks so much like a musician, you know what I'm saying? He looks like a musician, dude. Like, but clearly he wears many hats, man. And shout out to him. More power to him.
And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists anytime at no extra costs. So click on the link in the description, betterhelp.com/Dan Mace, and get 10% off your first month. Let BetterHelp help you rule your anxiety before it rules you. Okay, back to the video.
Yeah. He replied, thanks, that's great. I will get my office to confirm a time. That's all I needed. For the purpose of legitimacy, this film is divided directly in the middle. On this side, you've got what's governed by law. And then on this side is what seems to be, through research, as something that's really dangerous. I don't know what to expect. I'm going into this so blind. I'm off to Alan Windy's office. I'm just gonna pull in there and hope for the best. What's interesting to me is with all the different forms of transport, the most unregulated form of transport is the most profitable. And then this is really common where it's just people hanging out the back of what we call bakkies, which are trucks. But we don't question it. It is actually pretty interesting though. That's why I want to speak to a cop, someone that patrols the roads as well and try and get into their mind. I think that's also a very important part of all of this. There's going to be police outside, just hold the camera down. I'm nervous now. Hello, officer. I'm here to see Alan Windy. We've got an interview with him.
The speed at which he got, you know, to get to that connection, the speed at which just making one phone call. I don't know if he's well known. He must be. The speed at which one phone call and he's getting a one-to-one, a face-to-face with this Alan Windy guy. I mean, usually it takes weeks or months or, nah, he's not available. Try next week. He made one phone call, and the next thing you know, he's gonna see this Alan Windy guy, and Alan Windy is a big shot in his own right. So, hey man, props, man, props.
On the program, there's nothing.
Let me call him quickly.
How's it, Dan?
How's it, Alan? How's it going?
That cool. Are you at the gate?
I'm at the gate, yes.
I'm gonna call him now and get him.
This whole police situation. I used to be close with one of the Northwest Premier's daughters, and every time we'd go to the embassy, you'd have to bypass the cops that were there. So if they don't like you, you're gonna have some problems going in. But usually, you let them know, hey, I'm gonna go and see such and such, and they go and they call and make sure that, hey, I'm not a criminal, I'm not up to no good, and they buzz you in. So just seeing these cops here remind me of that situation. It's neither here or there. I just thought I should share.
To get you in.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool.
Sorry for the hold up.
No worries at all, bro. I totally get it. Alan met me at his residence in Cape Town, which is also known as the White House of South Africa. Do you mind if I move things on your desk?
No, you can do whatever you like.
Oh, awesome. As a South African growing up, there's like this idea that taxis are dangerous. Is this true?
There definitely is a rogue element within the taxi industry.
Yes.
It's not an idea. It is what it is. It's dangerous as hell, dude.
The law must follow its course there. The taxi industry should actually be the first one that says we don't have thuggery in our system. The production on this documentary is dope. The production is dope. The editing, the transitions, the cinematography, the resolution of the camera, you can see these guys mean business, man. I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed, and we haven't even gotten into the nitty-gritty. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. You can't have competitiveness sorted out by the end of a gun or a knife. And we really are trying to get the trains going again, because trains should be the backbone of our public transport system. That needs to be cheap, safe. At the moment, that doesn't happen here, and there's a lot of accusation that the taxi industry themselves are causing the trouble.
What I'm trying to understand is, what is the relationship between the taxi industry?
A lot of like taxi crimes and the underworld, you know, the crimes that are related to drugs, like kingpins, they don't get solved. And that's how you can tell if certain crimes don't get touched or they don't even get investigated. It's the taxi industry or the underworld, you know, the drug world in South Africa. Those are the ones, bro. Like, hey, dangerous, bro. Dangerous. The cops are either told, hey, stay away from that one, or they might even be, you know, a part of it. So, yeah.
And the government.
The taxi industry is a very important component of our economy.
Alan then explained how tensions arose in 2023 between government and the taxi industry due to law enforcement cracking down on illegal taxis operating without a permit. This resulting in thousands of taxis being impounded. A full shutdown of all the taxis was organized by the taxi associations in Cape Town, meaning that no one could get to work.
So there's no transport. We are on our way now, walking.
Unfortunately, no other transport was used, as people from the protest were accused of burning buses and not allowing personal vehicles to pass the road. The city was shut down for a week. According to multiple news sources, this cost the Western Cape 5 billion rand, or $270 million, which only houses 12% of the country's employees. This also left over 450,000 kids being unable to attend school.
Go to a taxi rank to see how it works. I think making a film about this from South Africa, for South Africa, is exactly what the industry themselves need.
You hear that? Thank you so much.
All right.
Really.
Pleasure.
Got some really valuable insight there. Okay, off to go meet the big taxi boss. Well, hopefully, I don't know. I didn't hear back from Bravo yesterday, but I've been like bombarding him with messages. Sorry, Bravo. Now he sent me voice notes, which I haven't listened to.
Just spoken to my guys. They're busy making some calls. It's really not easy, that I can promise you.
I've emailed like every single taxi service to try and like get through it that way, but I haven't gotten any leads there. Just shut down. Okay, another message from Bravo.
He's one of the most respected guys in the industry. But unfortunately,
In jail. To sum that up,
You got Bravo, then you've got his main connection who's currently in jail, and then you've got another connection. I think this guy has to say yes, and then he somehow makes contact with a big Mafia boss man. We have made contact with a man in jail. That's step number one. That's a good thing. Tomorrow's another day. I'll be back on it.
I'm curious, like, what is it that you say to these guys for them to... Because obviously they've got their secrets, right? They've got things that they don't want the public to know. So I always wonder, like, what do people who do documentaries and go into dangerous zones or, you know, that cover dangerous topics and meet up with dangerous people, what is it that they have to tell these guys for them to be allowed, you know, within these, you know, secretive sort of scenarios where certain things can get exposed or, you know, information will be revealed? I've always wondered, man, how do they do it?
Day number 6 today into this investigation. Bravo then insisted it would be best to meet up in person as he started to get a bit hesitant.
Yeah, I've just spoken to the guys now and I'm waiting for the feedback. First of all, those guys don't care about money, so they don't want you to think maybe you can just do anything.
Yeah, no,
you've got cash.
Respect.
They've got loads of those.
Yes.
So they need a proper approach. But if they give us a green light.
Hello? Yeah, sorry man, you don't have 20 minutes. Somebody can record something. Sharp. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that. I'm supposed to just, you know, escort the workers back home, but I told them, hey, I'm still recording, so just give me like 20 minutes, but let's get back to it, please.
Then nobody's going to oppose him. He's the main O.
So we're just waiting now to hopefully be able to get in there tomorrow. Oh, we can start early, bro.
Very early.
Fresh in the morning, on our way to Langa. It's Monday morning, so it's going to be peak hour traffic. Follow me. Let's do this.
Last night, after a few more discussions with Bravo, I was able to make contact with a taxi driver named Semankelo. This is kind of where Bravo, I think, decided to distance himself from this project. So this morning, I'm going to experience firsthand what it's like through the eyes of a high-ranking taxi driver. Hey guys.
Hey, sharp.
Are you guys waiting for a taxi or are you gonna jump in the Golden Arrow?
We're waiting for a taxi, yeah.
And why do you take a taxi and not the Golden Arrow bus?
The Golden Arrow bus here is standing for it's just till 6 o'clock and then they will go to their station.
Thank you so much, bro. What we found out this morning is that the buses only start operating at around 6 and later than 6. Everything else is just minibuses. They start work at 4 a.m. Look here. Minibus. So how are people supposed to get to work if they're relying solely on the buses? This is like not in any way safe. So I was here once before and a guy pulled a gun out on me when we were shooting another film.
Hello?
Semankelo, how's it going? It's Dan speaking.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Good man, good.
Are you in Langa at the moment?
I'm in Langa, yeah, I'm in Langa.
Okay, sharp.
Sharp, my bro. Okay, cheers. For all we know, this is him racing past, bro. I'll follow you. How random is that, bro? How you, my bro? I'm red. Yeah, this is you. Because you're the cleanest taxi in the whole run, my bro. We're just about to do a pickup and then we're gonna drive around. I go in the car so long.
Now you can go in.
Just a side story, man. I would hate, like, if I'm sitting, I would hate sitting in the front of the taxi. I would hate sitting in front of the taxi, you know, because in South Africa, if you're not in Cape Town, right, for the most part, a lot of the time, Certain taxis in Cape Town have got like an assistant, within. The guy who calls you to come to the taxi. Hey, Mowbray Clemmer Weinberg, Dalesville, Menenberg. So they call you. But other parts of the country, they may not have that. So it's just the people in the taxi and the driver. So if you're sitting in the front, you have to be the one who counts the cash and shit. And you have to sort of count, okay, this person needs this much change. And it would always blow my mind. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get the maths right. So I would always want to be the one that's just away from the cash. I'll pay my money, but don't ask me to count no money. Don't ask me to count how much change somebody needs. Okay, that guy gave me a 30. That guy gave me a 50. Damn it.
Okay. I keep this and then I give to him.
Yeah. You are a cashier for now.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is that no one sits up front because then you immediately become responsible for counting the money.
It's the worst, dude.
6.
And there's some people that can do it smooth, man. Like it's like nothing. Okay, 20 for him. Okay, $10 for him. Okay, hold it. $10 for him. Okay, who gave me the 50? It's crazy. Some people can do it. But if you're not ready for it, because now whatever problems you have, if you came in with your problems and you're thinking about your problems, you put that to the side. Now you're a mathematician. Now you have to try and figure out how this money thing works and who deserves what. It's crazy.
So now you're making me do math. 3, 4 and change. 1 rand. Or 2 people. 3 people.
He's using a calculator, dude. It's crazy.
On this one? 4 rand change there.
If you're not ready for it, it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy experience. If you're not mentally prepared to be counting money and figuring out how much somebody is going to be getting in change, it'll blow your mind, dude.
Don't worry, bro. I've got it. Did someone need 40 rand change?
No, everyone is sorted with change.
Everyone's paid. We are up now. Somehow. But you can she paid, eh?
Everyone pays.
You gotta keep it tight up in here. Yeah, 9 o'clock, then I must go to Nyanga. Nyanga, it's dangerous there.
Must be ready to meet your maker. Good luck.
You hear what they said, y'all? You must be ready to meet your maker. It's so scary, it's so dangerous. That lady couldn't even, she was like,
I then met up with La, who is the plug to get me into Nyanga as safely as possible.
Now we're going into Nyanga.
Most dangerous in South Africa.
So at least you're here during the day, big guy.
Our escort.
This is the guy.
This is escort the buggy.
He's making sure that no one's gonna shoot at the car.
I see them when they put a tire around your neck and someone light it.
They put a tire around
your
you
neck
and then light it?
Light it, yeah. They ban you life.
Time to do this.
Our escort then took us to the main offices, which just didn't turn out the way I expected. Alright, out of respect, I won't show any of the footage I obtained here, but I can paint it out for you. I got told to enter this dark container, which is a boardroom of sorts. I have been in many sticky situations making films in the past, but this was by far the scariest, as I had no idea at what point this could take a twist for the worst. In short, I was interrogated on what this film or this project is about, and I had to tread the line very carefully, as I do understand why they are cagey about the media. But my intention here is not to paint them in a bad light, however, to uncover the truth. Unfortunately, they were still skeptical.
But what happens if the truth paints them in a bad light? You see what I'm saying?
And I was given a number of some other guy and then told to leave.
It's just phone call after phone call after phone call at this point.
And after speaking to him on the phone in length, I decided that it's probably best to not continue with this project.
So what's the plan now?
I have no fucking plan of what to do now.
What exactly was he trying to... Okay, he says the truth, but what does that mean, really? In fact, you can't get the truth. I don't think you can get it, because for you to get the truth, you would have to speak to people who are willing to give you the truth, and not everybody's going to be willing to give you the truth. If I'm a boss of a shady organization, for example, and you want to find out about my shady organization, first of all, the people that work for me, they know not to share any information. I know not to share any information. So I'm curious, how do you get the truth in such a situation? How? You're an outsider, you're a Caucasian at that. You're an outsider trying to get information about one of the most dangerous organizations really in the country. They regulate themselves, they run things, they shoot if you don't obey. They shoot each other if they steal each other's taxi roadways, the taxi lines. No questions asked. You should know the rules by now. So how does he get the truth? How? It's almost impossible, man.
Nah, bro.
Until I got this email. It's just past 4 a.m. and I'm about to go in undercover squad cars with the police to patrol the highway and see how it works. Now that I've experienced what it's like to be inside a unregulated taxi, it'll be great to be inside of a regulated police vehicle.
Look how misty it is. This is like where you usually don't want to be. The place is just filled with traffic cops. I don't know where we're going.
I then met up with Inspector Besaidenote, who leads the taxi task team where they patrol the roads, mainly looking for taxis operating illegally.
We're waiting now. The police are doing a briefing over there, and we don't have bulletproof vests, and they all have bulletproof vests. Apparently there's a lot of shootings and stuff.
You guys should be given bulletproof vests. It's a necessity. Otherwise, the cops wouldn't be wearing them. I've seen situations like this, like people like Ross Kemp and them going into dangerous zones. You gotta have your bulletproof vests. It's a safety precaution. If you don't have a bulletproof vest, they tell you to wait in the car. You know what I'm saying?
This is the most dangerous traffic task team to be a part of due to the volatility of the taxi drivers, in most cases leading the officers on high-speed chases and into the township areas where they are met with gunfire.
So in one morning, how many impounds do you reckon you do?
Take about 50 easy.
50?
In the evening, with darkness, that's the best. Element of surprise.
And just like that, it literally took him 3 minutes to find the first suspect.
We're gonna pull this one over.
Should we stay in the car?
No, you can get up to one. Give your driver's license, pick a piece, and your permit.
See down the road there's another vehicle that's just been pulled over.
So you're off route. We are going to impound your van.
Okay.
Officer Scholz is driving his vehicle now. Because he's dropping off staff now, picking staff up. Well, he's only dropping it off now. He's not picking them up again.
This is 65,000 rand. Do you have to pay it then and there? Or
No, he's going to go to jail.
I think we're going to go and see another taxi now.
Your driver's license quickly, please, man. Aren't you supposed to be doing a pre-trip inspection before you drive? No, I'm charging him now.
And looking for what?
And I'm going to suspend his car as well, because his car's got no headlights, no taillights. You have to physically go drive in the Yangon. There you don't do a traffic stop. Yes, I mean, the chances of you getting shot is about 99%.
Really?
No way. So I ran it through the police.
99%. The chances of getting shot, 99%. That's crazy.
Our police say this thing is still positively stolen and circulate on the system. So then I have to get back to police. Like I said, we've got no mercy when it comes to this. At the end of the day, it's your job.
As much as there is law that has to be enforced, I just can't help thinking that some of these men are just fathers trying to support their families. After a new wave of conflicted emotions, I realized once again the importance of telling the story. So it's time to dive right back in. I understand now why the route I took in the beginning to make contact with the head of the entire taxi industry, Mandla Hermanus, was wrong and why I got turned away. And this is because the media just extorts them for negative stories. However, I have a new approach, which is to speak to the person one under Mandla and win his trust over first. And if I can do this, I know that through Alan Windy, I can get in with the main head of crime and traffic law enforcement, JP Smith. Basically, in essence, these two are the rivals on top of all this chaos. And then I'll finally have the answer to the ultimate question, which is, are the taxis the best solution for transport when looking at the economy as well as safety, or are they just violent mobsters that should be put behind bars?
The taxi industry is dangerous, but it plays a vital role. But I also think that they should work in tandem with other transportation types, like, buses and trains, especially trains, like it was mentioned earlier. The train is the backbone, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's happening with Transnet, the main train system in the country. I don't know what's going on there, if there was corruption going on there, like there was at SAA and ESCOM. But I think taxis, buses, trains, ships, they should all work in tandem because and the air, of course, aeroplanes, they should all work in tandem. You can't have one industry overpowering another. I mean, there's different ways to transport people and goods. So, yeah, they're all vital. But yeah, the taxi industry doesn't play, man. They just don't play.
Okay, now time to meet with the person one underneath Mandla, Mr. Nkululeko, the PRO for Carter. And this meeting means it's back to Nyanga for me. Can't believe I'm going back to Nyanga.
This guy's ability to maneuver is brilliant, man. I don't know if he's got a team or if he's doing it all alone. He should have a team, right? But I mean, I'm seeing him making the phone calls, like calling people directly, and that's brilliant to me, man.
I thought the last time would be my last time there. And I've got no escort this time or security. There's the container that they fucking put me in the last time. Look at this. Just a week ago, this is where they burnt a whole bunch of taxis. Everybody seems a little bit more laid back.
Those taxis that were burnt, I can't say I know for sure what happened, but it's probably taxis who used a route that they were not supposed to, or used the route without getting permission, or, or people who they don't know where they came from. They decided to have their taxis there doing that thing. Nah, you got to get permission. You got to make announcements. You got to register your taxis. You can't just rock up and say, I'm going to drive here and there. Who are you, brother? Who are you? These guys are ruthless. They don't play. They will burn your taxis and then ask questions later. Like, oh my God, whose taxi was that? And I also believe there's rivalries that happen. Some people don't like some people. Certain taxis are owned by certain families, and I believe certain families don't jive well with other families, and it's been a rivalry for years. I think that also takes place here, the Romeo and Capulet thing, the Montague and Capulet situation.
I don't know if it's because we've gone through the right chain of command. Might be wrong though. The goal is to get to Mandla, and I've got to get through this to get to Mandla.
Yeah.
Dan.
Kululeko, Carter PRO, pleased to meet you, Dan.
Good to meet you. Would you say that the impounding is one of the major problems?
People are out of business because of impounding.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself why the Western Cape is so passionate about impounding our events. This business was established by the black person, and then it is run successfully by the black person. The government always want to see how do we run this business so successful. This business is not subsidized. It is run from the pocket of a certain individual. There might be wrongdoings here and there, but we want this industry to be respected by the community as well as the government, of which is not easy under these circumstances that we are facing at this point in time. Remember, the taxi, there's a lot of people that are fed by that taxi. You look at the driver's got a wife and kids. There's a car wash that needs to be fed by that driver. There's ladies that are selling stuff at the taxi rank. That taxi doesn't only belong to the owner. That taxi is feeding a lot of people, of which the government, we believe, is failing to do that.
Thank you.
My mother once visited here with one of her friends, and I met her for the first time, and she told me she was sort of affiliated with the taxi industry. And the moment she said that, I thought to myself, yo, do we have an undercover kingpin in our midst? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Is she hands-on, or is she just,
You know, it's like, yo, and she's a lady. It's like, yo, taxi industry, my lady, are you sure? What role do you play? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, but I didn't want to ask too many questions because, you know, I respect the industry and I know it's dangerous. So, you know, you don't want to poke holes where you don't, you know, where the sun don't shine.
Thank you so much for your time. That was really, really great. I was able to get Mandela's number, which is good. I'm a taxi.
Notice how nothing incriminating was shared naturally. So, like I say, he said he wanted to get the truth, right? So, but the truth exposes. Nobody wants to get exposed if you're in a shady industry. So how does that work? You know what I'm saying? What came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken or the egg?
You too. After my experience so far, I've come to realize the devastation that is caused to so many lives when a taxi is impounded or destroyed. My question here is, why are so many getting impounded? Is the system actually working in improving the taxi driving behavior, and why are taxis being torched in these ranks? To understand this further and finally wrap up all these questions, I need to speak with the highest form of authority on both sides. And now that I've set up a meeting with Mandela, I set up a meeting with JP Smith, the man responsible for safety and security in the city of Cape Town. JP Smith seems like quite an intense person.
Dude, the people in the private security business, those guys are no nonsense. Some of the most dangerous, scariest people you will ever find. The people in the private security situation in this country. Damn, man. There's dangerous people taking on dangerous people, bro. There's no two ways about it, yo. Dangerous people taking on dangerous people.
And this is like the definitive one side.
I bet you right now, this JP Smith guy, I've never heard of him, but the fact that he's head of security in the Western Cape, I bet you he's going to smile very little. He could prove me wrong, but I bet you right now he's going to smile very little.
Oh my, bro, yeah, all the taxis, there's so many. I was told to meet JP at the main impound lot where all the taxis are taken, and as I walked in, I noticed a long line of people waiting.
Are you guys here to fetch your impounded taxi?
Yes.
They're impounding lots of taxis.
All the time, every day. I think what's happening here in Western Cape, they're just making money on us. You see, that one, I was supposed to pay 15,000. That's why I told you now, my one was pounded on November. It's only now that I have money to come to fetch.
What's your name?
Chris.
Hello?
Yeah.
Dan. Thanks, guys. This whole journey has been so eye-opening. I guess that's why I'm so nervous to interview JPs, because I've heard from the one side, now I'm hearing from the other side, and my brain's just going crazy, and it's like so conflicted with all these different narratives.
I then met JP, and he showed me around the impound, where vehicles either have a short stay before their owners pay the 15,000 Rand release fee or meet their final resting place due to owners not having the funds to pay. However, as witnessed on my drive along, a lot of these taxis are being impounded.
I never knew about this whole impound thing. I knew about things getting shut down or burnt, but this whole impound situation is the first I hear of it. So, interesting.
For driving off route. So to understand more, I sat down with JP to discuss how everything works.
Their main complaint is saying that the only reason for the impounding is to make money. What would the response be?
Vehicles impounded in terms of the National Land Transportation Act. This is the designated pound. We are expanding it now. We will have additional such pounds. None of the money that comes out of the impoundment comes back to the traffic department. So it's absolutely not about the money. It is absolutely about the driving behavior. If a taxi takes offense to you, it is not uncommon to see a taxi driver get out and come and smash a window in.
Okay, so if the money doesn't come to the impound place, where does the money go then? That's the question I would be asking. If the money doesn't go to the impound center, where does it go?
Or assault another driver. This happens all too frequently.
JP then explained the main two reasons for taxi impounds are either driving without a permit or driving off the route declared by their permit. The government tries to regulate the taxi industry by providing taxis permits to ride on a specific route. This aims to eliminate other associations driving on another's route. However, as seen in this video, that obviously doesn't work because of where these taxi drivers live. Some of them literally have to cross the road that they're not allowed to drive on just to pick up passengers. The war of power and control of these routes are always driven by the hunger for money, which often ends up in bloody battles needing to be stopped by law enforcement officers.
Police have come to me and said there is definitely a threat on your life. The hitman to kill you is already here. If you know it to be the right thing to do, you will do it. If the city does not impound, the consequence is a taxi war.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm not going to take any more of your time.
No problem.
And I really, really appreciate it. This just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now I wonder no one's ever made a film about this before, because it's just...
Looking back, it's really hard to explain how deeply this journey has affected me. I've made real friendships on both sides of a broken, violent system. People who have welcomed me into their lives with open arms and unfiltered truth. As a filmmaker, I'm supposed to stay neutral. But how do you stay impartial when you've seen the cost of corruption through someone else's eyes? Tomorrow is the final day of filming, and maybe, just maybe, I'll find the missing piece. The glimpse of hope that the system can change. And the pain carried through every interview, every street corner, might finally make sense.
I spent all of last night writing 8 very, very intense questions. These questions could be pushing a little bit too hard. However, this is what will sum up this whole film. I do feel that it's very fair, but I am nervous. I don't want this to take a wrong turn. We are about to pull up to Mandla Hermanus's main office. This documentary is also... Oh my God, whoa. Taxi almost knocked into me. Ironically, can you imagine getting knocked over by a taxi like right outside? Yeah. This last question is what will sum up this entire film. Just don't know if he's gonna answer it or not. What's crazy is there's like, now we in this like controlled building. Like we're going from like the informal settlements and now we in like this very big building. The main, the tip top. Man, they're great to meet you. We made it. Setting up for Mandla's interview. Everything in here is like very organized. What would you say the real reason behind the reoccurring violence within the taxi industry? Is it the turf wars or
Is he supposed to be the kingpin? Oh, interviewing the head of the taxi industry. Okay. They've got professional officers and everything. You know what I'm saying? Things are looking slick in the building. Okay, Mandla.
The lack of regulation.
It starts with the turf wars, and it starts with sometimes it's a bigger association wanting to take over a route that belongs to a small association. There's no requirement for Santaco to give input to say whether the department can or cannot issue an operating license. So that relationship is always between the taxi operator and the Department of Transport. We actually wrote to the city of Cape Town to say, please have cameras around the taxi ranks. But that has still not happened. Over 100 minibus taxi operators killed in 1 year.
Wow.
So I don't think our lives matter that much to government.
Sure.
Yeah, so they are not bothered.
What does a better system look like?
The impoundment, it has not changed the driving behavior, but it has punished the operators and made millions for the city. If as Santaco, we can actually have a control room to monitor the driving behavior, because as soon as drivers start to realize that their actions are being monitored, that's when their behavior changes. That's when our vehicles become safe. There was a program called Blue Dot, and it did exactly that.
The Blue Dot program was a Western Cape government initiative to improve minibus taxi safety, reliability, and professionalism. Taxis were fitted with trackers to monitor driving behavior, and operators earned financial incentives for safe driving. The program reduced accidents and improved commuter satisfaction, but it ended due to funding constraints, despite positive impacts.
These things could be done with half the money that goes to the bus companies, and they get 1.3 billion every year. Which one is more valuable, to give 1.3 billion to a company that operates 1,300 buses than giving $500 million to an industry of 16,000 taxis that are transporting 70% of the people you are supposed to subsidize as government? Yeah.
I don't envy your job, eh? It must be so difficult. Sure, but I just wanted to say, thank you so much for your time.
No, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was great. It's crazy how scared I was before going in, and then meeting Mandla, and he's just so open, and he just wants to share his side of the story. I'm gonna head back and do my final breakdown. Okay, here's my conclusion. The taxi industry in the Western Cape is not just transport, it is survival. It moves millions of people every single day. Millions. Low-income workers, school children, single mothers, all relying on a system born from apartheid's neglect. But that system is chaotic. It is unregulated, untaxed, and often violent. And that chaos is not random. It is what happens when people are excluded from the formal economy for generations. For the most part, taxi drivers are not criminals, they are survivors. Most of them do not have degrees, they have debt. They have families to feed, they have no safety net. But yes, there are warlords, there are power struggles, just like in any industry. And there is millions in untaxed cash moving through the system. The government responds with regulations, impoundments, corporate-run alternatives. But to the drivers, this feels like punishment and not partnership. If we want real change, we need a deal, not a crackdown. Let the drivers co-own their future. Create fair taxation that does not destroy livelihoods. Digitize the system, set safety standards. Protect the child trying to get to school and the driver just trying to get home. Again, this is not about transport, it is about dignity. It is about power, it is about survival. Solve that and we do not just fix taxis, we lift the country.
So guys, there you have it, man. Inside South Africa's taxi mafia with the nigga Dan Mace. I think he did a marvelous job. I enjoyed watching this. I got some great insight into the taxi industry. I've always known it was dangerous. I just didn't know too much about it. I'm impressed by this young man's production. I'm impressed by his cameras. I'm impressed by his editing, the music production, you know, the background music. I think he's done a great job. And yeah, man, I've been Letsi Letsolo. You've been watching Crime and Reason. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. And I think please like, subscribe, you know, hit the notification button and share it if you will. I think this is a great job. I'm going to keep watching this guy's work. I think it's great. All around, I think his production is brilliant. So yeah, man, till we see each other next time. I'm going to take the guys home. And see you guys next time and enjoy your day. Keep safe out there. Salute.